Okay, so we have told you earlier that we came up with a new segment that's in person with, and today, for the first time, we have Bob Chua, who's the CEO and founder of Pulse Group, to tell us more about him and, of course, Pulse Group.
Yes, so thank you for joining us. So,
welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here and for my intro of being a very, very young man. I think you guys must have definitely had a typo in the bio.
We still view it as young.
Okay.
We keep it that way.
Great. Well, thanks so much. Well, I'm an entrepreneur, and I come from Sabah, a small place in East Malaysia.
Lovely place.
Lovely place. You know, I've always been interested in entrepreneurship. I've come from a family of entrepreneurs. I've now run Pulse Group for 6 years. We grew from a very small startup here in Malaysia, and now very proud to say that we're an international company.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, now before we go on to the questions, for you out there, if you want to talk to Bob, please do call us 2287-2051.
Yes.
2287-3051. Meanwhile, the Facebook is another place where you can reach us. So any comments, if you can't pick up the phone, give us a call on the. If you can't give us a call on the phone, get us on the Facebook. Give us your comments on the Facebook. Pulse Group, Bob. Maybe for the benefit of the viewers, let's peel a little bit on that one. Tell us more about Pulse Group. What does Pulse Group do? A little bit of background.
All right. So I've always come from the technology and market research space. That's what I specialize in qualification-wise. It's always been my interest, especially now where consumer internet and social network is so huge.
That's right.
We're one of the earlier players in that game. So we are what we define a digital research agency. So similar to a market research agency, we focus on collecting data from consumers, primarily online, so via internet surveys, via trawling things like Twitter, Facebook forums, making sense of what people are talking about brands, what people are talking about personalities, and we sort of quantify that sort of data and help large brands to either penetrate with new products, new pricing, new advertising campaigns, and we assist them with doing that. And our clientele are global, and we have offices in multiple locations around the world. So we're very technologically focused. It's sort of we're trying to make market research sexy, and which is very hard to do.
Is very
obviously.
hard. Yes, of course. Somebody looks at market research and like.
Absolutely. So, we're a real agency that does that. And, I think that space with the technology and consumer-based internet is just booming now. So, we're sort of at the right place at the right time, and we've been doing it for a while. So we're ahead of the pack and plan to stay there.
Okay. I guess you must have a lot of people asking you this question. What does it take to be successful, one? And secondly, how did you get the idea of making market research sexy in his words?
Well, I think I stumbled upon the opportunity, one, because I was in the industry. And I think 6 years ago, Asia, in terms of internet adoption, was just going through the roof. We have mobile adoption, internet adoption that's been extremely rapid. Asia's been on an extremely fast growth path economically, and will continue to be. So I think the interest of Asia from global brands, the consumers adopting the internet in such a large way, was basically the ingredients for a company like Pulse to be around. And I think that led to the success that we've experienced, fortunately. I think in terms of the ingredients for success, I think it's part foolishness and part just jumping off a cliff and having the guts to do that, because it's very scary. But I think in hindsight, sometimes entrepreneurs don't think about things like that. They just go for it. And I think in my case that was it. It could have worked out either way, make or break, and fortunately it worked out well.
Brilliant. Now, a lot of people, of course, I think young entrepreneurs out there who are, getting into the market right now, a lot of them would love to start a business of their own. It's every man's dream to be his own boss. Nobody wants to be working for the next person until he or she is 50 or 55 or 60, for instance. I guess those were back in those days when our dads were doing it. But right now, when you want to be your own boss, what does it take to become your own boss? How successful can you be? And in your opinion, Bob, when you start a business, oftentimes in the first year, people fail. They literally go either bankrupt, or they close down, or they size down.
Of course.
Why does this happen?
Okay, I think to answer your first question, I've always worked for very large organizations, which is a good and bad thing. Good is that you learn a lot. You learn how to scale a business. You're backed by a large brand, lots of funds. You have international exposure. And, personally, I think for successful entrepreneurs, that decreases your risk. And while I work with a lot of young entrepreneurs as well, I always see that the guys who have had some good, solid job experience will have a higher chance of making it. Similar to what I had. While there's a lot of movements going around promoting entrepreneurship and everything else, I think personally it's a wise move to first get some experience. Because jumping into it straight away is one, a daunting task. Two, you're very green and inexperienced.
That's true.
So, everyone wants to be the next Google. They want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. But those guys are 1 in a million as well. Not everyone's going to be able to do that. So I think, certain personalities of people, myself included, are not great for working for other people. I like my freedom. I like to move at a pace that I move, which is relatively quick. And so, I think certain breeds of people don't really work well in an establishment. And then they go on and do their own thing and do well at it. Certain people probably do well in a corporation and they're good executives, professional managers. When we started Pulse, we had a lot of startup type folks, people that took risks, people that were in that sort of startup mode who worked 24 hours, worked weekends and didn't care about that. As we matured, now we're coming 7 years old, we're a public listed company, we have professional managers that can scale the business professionally, put structure in place. So you need the different breeds of people along the way. We had all startup people at this stage will probably go bankrupt tomorrow because they'll be taking too much risk, they won't have any structure and everything else. So you need different people at different stages, and I think different characters and personalities. So that really
make it colourful.
Absolutely, and you need that different sort of breed. So I think the second question about entrepreneurs.
Why do they fail in the first year?
Why do they fail? I think the statistics show that 9 out of 10 people would fail in the first 12 months. Once you get to 6 years, if you're lucky to pass the first 12 months, you're now considered a mature company, especially in the technology space. But still, there's challenges. There's always challenges for growth. From a startup, you're trying to get to $1 million. Once you're $1 million company, you're going to try and get to $5 million. Then you get venture funding, you want to get to $10 million.
That's right.
When you go public, you want to get to $500 million. Once you're ready, you want to get to $1 billion. So it's all about growth. And I think the reasons for failure is one, lack of funding. So they run out of steam there. Lack of scalability, so they don't have the clients to be able to scale their business, and just pure lack of experience to get all of these things in place. So I think if you have the experience, you have funding, you have a great product that sells, you have some clients, that will be the recipe for success.
So on a personal level, what is the right attitude towards success?
Well, I think I'm still working hard at it. I wouldn't say that I'm successful in any shape or form, but I think one needs a real positive attitude. One needs a fearless type of mentality, because it's very scary running a business. I think it's you always worry about growth, you always worry about legal issues, you always worry about salaries, you always worry about your service quality, how your brand is perceived. It's not for everyone. So, I think, part being smart, working hard, being fearless are all the ingredients for succeeding in a very brutally competitive space.
Okay, that's right.
Brilliant. Okay, now your one advice before we let you off, and we're running out of time, so we want to talk to you more, but time does not allow us. Your one advice to the people out there, or rather to people out there, in terms of, being you. Being
Don't
like
be me.
you,
I think that's
being
the
like you, starting a business. Where can you start? How small can you start?
Well, I think anyone can start a business. I mean, to be honest, I don't advise anyone to get into business because it's not for everyone. And while I promote entrepreneurship as much as I can, it's not for everyone.
But I like it. You're practical.
Yeah, I mean, I'm realistic.
Realistic, more like it. Yeah.
And I don't like seeing people fail.
Right.
But I think you have to dare to fail if you want to succeed. It's not a bad thing. But two, I think you just have to go out and do it. I think that's at the end of the day, you have to be fearless. You have to think big. Hopefully think global, because Malaysia in itself is quite a small market in the grand scheme of things. And move fast. I always tell people it's about the fast moving, eating the slow, not the large eating the small.
Right.
Especially in technology, that's the truth.
So would you say that it's good for somebody, if they're thinking of being their own boss, to get into a field, one, they're familiar with,
Absolutely.
two, in a field that is in demand?
Absolutely.
That would be one of the key
If there's
elements.
no demand and they don't know what we're doing, then you're doomed for failure. So that's,
There you go.
I think, the most logical advice.
Brilliant. Now, before, again, I'm very curious here, Bob. Obviously,
Okay.
Yasmin and I are very curious. The 2008 award that you won,
Yes.
very quickly to sum it up, what was that award?
Well, we won a few, but I think the one you're talking about is the Ernst & Young.
Yes, the Ernst & Young
Emerging
Entrepreneurship Award.
Yeah, so I think that's probably one of my most prestigious awards I've won, because Ernst & Young, as you know, is
Yeah.
a very large organization. That
Yes.
award is run in, I think, 113 countries, and in Malaysia alone, we've had people like Tan Sri Yeo Lei, Francis Yeo, Dato' Tony Fernandez, all of the, luminaries of Malaysian business. So I think to be up against them or with them has been a
It's
fantastic
amazing, yeah.
experience. So I won that in 2008. It's obviously been a great morale booster for me, for the guys that I work with. But I think at the end of the day, it really was. I think I owe that to all of my guys, because I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So to all of you watching, wherever cameras are, thank you all. I think it's been a great experience with them, and hopefully we'll win many more moving along.
Brilliant. There you go. Well, Bob, I guess that's about the time we have with you today,
Thanks
but
for having
it
me.
has been informative. I mean, we had Prof in the studios earlier to tell us more about the power of
Fantastic
giving, and then
stuff, yeah.
here you are talking about how you came up in terms of your business. I think that's wonderful. Suddenly wants me to go and start my own business.
Go for it. Go
But
for
again, it's not for everyone.
That's true,
It's
that's
not
right.
for everyone.
That's true.
Thank you very much for sharing with us your
Thank you.
success
Thanks
story.
for having me.
It's super amazing, and I think people can Google you up. You are.
Yeah, you may not want to do that, but
People can Google
Don't
him.
Google
There's
Bob,
a
don't
lot
Google
of
Bob.
information about him and his success story, guys. So take action.
There you go. Bob,
you.
thanks again once. So for you, don't go away, because we've got Azaria with Shinju Pearls, a
Yes.
hot happening coming your way. Take it away.